I strongly believe that this gentleman, Colin Henry, should be a comedian. He's wasting his talent. Good evening, comrades. I would want to believe after the pastor would have, given you that sermon, you would have been all lively and ready to rear and go. Good evening, comrades. All right. As my friends say, hi. All right, I greet you. Hi. I greet you in the name of the APNU AFC Coalition. I also greet you in the name of His Excellency, the President of this Cooperative Republic of Guyana, David Arthur Granger. When I say David, you say? When I say David, you say? I thank you. These elections, as other speakers would have said and have brought their messages, it's very important to us. This 2020 elections on the 2nd of March is not no ordinary elections. It is very important to all of us. The value of these elections, you can't put a price on it. The impact on your families, or your friends, your grandchildren, and your children is not something you'll be able to deal with. So, come 2nd of March 2020, I would expect every one of you to get your children, your nanny, your mommy, whoever it is, to come out to these elections and to re-elect David Arthur Granger and his team to govern this country, not only for 2020, because whoever wins this election come 2020 will govern this country until 2050. All right. I would also like to remind you, my friends, my colleagues, that we all talk about party, we all talk about our government. We come out in our greens, we come out in our yellow, we come out with our flags. All right, we can come to the garbage bag just now. Right? But what we need to remember, and that is very important, is that elections are not only won by the green and yellow, it's won by votes. I heard my colleague earlier, Councillor Ford, spoke about that, and about the sexy X, and how he want no sexy X. He want a particular X that make sense, that doesn't touch the line. And we have to work the corners, work each house, remind your neighbors, remind your friends, remind everyone about the importance of these elections. So while we come out here and show support and listen to the messages which you will take back to your various communities and take back to your various families, we want you to understand the importance of these elections and understand the value of these elections moving forward. Again, one of my colleagues also addressed the issue of local democracy. Who has brought back local democracy to this country? I ask the question, who has brought back local democracy to this country? All right, the APNU FC has done that. This local democracy, as we all know, was missing from our history. Missing from our lives for the last 23 years until 2016. It's the courage, the commitment, the belief, and the President's wishes to have those elections and to have local government elections, not only one time, but 2 times in 4 years. Those elections were very crucial and critical to us having councillors, even for me standing here today. Because of those elections, I was able to be elected a councillor, then I went on to be elected deputy mayor. But if it wasn't for those elections and for the president holding up to his side of the deal and holding up to his manifesto pledges, we would have not had our constituency councillors meeting and dealing and touching on issues that are germane to the various constituencies, understanding the various impact that those that working with the people have. It's also important for the collaboration. It's also important that we understand that we are not a government like the previous administration. What is for sure is that we wouldn't be having no more IMCs. IMCs is something that was done by the previous government, and this government is not prepared to deal with such matters. We also would have listened to our president and our president's remarks on a number of issues, and the president understands and wants us not only to govern from the top, central government. He wants to also let the bottom, which we sit at the local level, and also have the regional level as part of that three-tier system that he understands and wants for the people of this country. It's something that he values very preciously, and he really wants to commit to and continue, so that the various councils will continue to meet and deal with issues that are local to the various areas, so we can then take those matters back to the full council, lobby among ourselves, and even if we have to touch with other ministries like we work with, especially the Ministry of Communities, Ministry of Infrastructure, and to some extent the Ministry of Agriculture, where I believe most of our major or primary drains or primary canals was done by that particular ministry in collaboration with the main city council. So local democracy and local government organ is very important to the development of this country. I would also like to touch a bit on social cohesion, because I also believe that is a very important aspect in any country, and it was the brainchild of our president who formed and had a ministry of social cohesion. That social cohesion speaks of the marrying of various races, understanding how each race integrates with each other. And that was very important to all of us, because this coalition is a coalition of not only 1, 2, 3, or is about all races. I myself come from both sides of that divide. My mom happens to be an Indian and my father an Afro-Guyanese. So I understand that connection, I understand the value of that connection, and I have never felt any way different as it relates to that cohesion. So I believe to both sides of the divide, we will need to be able to work the corners and work with our brothers and sisters as well, in order for us to be able to get them to understand what is the message, what this coalition is about, and where we want to go moving forward. All of this obviously is part of the good life, is the good life plans and the good life message of His Excellency, which not only speak, as I said, of cohesion, but also speak of education, infrastructure, buses, as we said, buses, bicycles, bags, and everything else. In closing, comrades, the issues are all before us. I heard the pastor spoke about the oil, and we understand the value and the impact of that oil to this country. But what is most important in this discovery is that we don't want to have oily hands on these oil resources. It's very important, because if it goes into the wrong hands, it will not be able to be drizzled down from the regional level, right down to the local level, where we could be able to get more funds available to us, so we could be able to do more for you, the people of this community and all the other communities of the city of Georgetown and further afield in Guyana. I know other speakers spoke and addressed the matters of the various markets, the number of markets and the number of projects that were done. As we know, the East Ruimveldt market was completed to some extent, not to the extent that we really want, but we will be able to do so, and we will be able to do so as long the money goes into the right hands. We know the best hand and the best place for that money to be spent, and the most honest hand, and the person with the greatest of integrity, and the person that is non-corruptible or incorruptible is no other than David Arthur Granger. So tonight, before I leave, I would just like to remind you, my comrades, that the messages that you've gotten here this evening, I would like you to go back home to your various families, go to your markets wherever you go to your church, go to your mosque, go to your mandirs, go to all the various portions that you've made contact, even in your workplaces, and try to educate them as to the reasons why this coalition is the best coalition for you. This coalition is the coalition that will bring about the right changes. This coalition will be able to do all that is necessary to bring the good life to you all and to serve the best interests of you and your various families. So long live the coalition government, and long live David Arthur Granger, the President of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. Thank you.